Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, episode 65, Starman 31 and 32 of the Will Patton Starman. We're back to Will. We took a long break, maybe too long a break of covering Will schedule, and I actually kind of wanted a breather after the switch in creative teams to kind of give myself a little headspace from the book, finish one era, go into the other era. I wish maybe if I should have taken the break right when they switched. But we're here to cover 31, 32, the second and third part of the Seduction of Starman storyline. Let's get some pertinent data and then we'll get it going. So this comic was cover dated February 1991. It has a pretty good cover. I think it is Mr. Hoover. Yes, it is Dave Hoover. It is a Dave Hoover cover. It's pretty good. Got a big bug, the bad guy in the background, and Will fighting. And it's a nice. I like it's like it looks like it's glow in the dark green and red in the background, but it's pretty cool. So comic starts, title page, it has it, Seduction of the Starman, Chapter 2, One Way Street. I didn't catch it the first time I read that. We've got Will outside a church. He's going to the funeral of the little kid who died at the end of the last comic and to give his condolences to his mother. He's coming as Will, and he's going to say he's a friend. He's coming for his friend Starman to give his condolences. So he wants to make sure the woman knows that Starman feels bad about everything, but he doesn't come as Starman to make a scene, to make it a little subtler and a little more. I think she's going to take it better, and she thanks him, and it's nice. And the people from the company that own, there's a representative from company of the housing that was building the houses where the explosion was that killed the little kid, is there trying to give his condolences, and then her grandfather comes up and he's losing it because his grandson's dead. I like the grandfather's character. I'm really liking Dave Hoover's art a little more. I've always liked Dave Hoover, and it's just, but the first couple issues of his I wasn't sure of. It wasn't I think some of his better stuff, but this is really good. Scott Hanna, maybe Scott Hanna and him are starting to jive together or work better. It just looks better. And the grandfather's one, I like that character, and I like these pages because he has a fit. I mean, he is angry. Will gets off, and then he's flying back. I love seeing these old comics with billboards on top of buildings, and I don't think they probably ever had. Maybe they did have them in Phoenix. I mean, I can't remember. I don't remember things like that. But there's one where it's a wake up and coffee, fresh coffee in an instant with a hard-working man on the cover, on the poster. Will's thinking about the kid. And he goes and he talks to Carol, and he talks to her about him getting an interview, or if he could get her more work, he'd get more work thing. The grandfather we find out he's a shaman, of course, in the comics. If you're going to have someone of an indigenous tribe, it's okay. But the grandfather, he's talking to the ancients so he can get vengeance for the people that harmed his grandson. Will goes to meet Mr. Haven at the Heart Foundation. And Mr. Arroyo, who was at the funeral, who works for this company, finds ants in his lunch, and then there are more ants, and it's he gets all bitten up, and Starman he's made to look like Lon Chaney Jr. with a mustache, and he zaps the ants, he saves them. But it's strange because they're ants that should only be in the desert. So it's Grandpa's magic. And we see Mr. Haven. She puts a sales pitch onto him to become the spokesman for this foundation. And after their conversation, and she's flirting with him pretty hard, and he's liking it. He goes home, and Jane gives him gives him shit for becoming, just a, product placement guy. So they have a brother and sister fight, and it's all good at the end. We find out. We cut back to Hart Industries and Alicia and Reg, the two bad guys, Mr. Hart and she has this pheromone power, and she's using it on Reg. And they talk about it. So the next thing is he's at it. Starman's being announced as their celebrity spokesman. The grandfather does a thing, a spell to a wasp nest, and all of a sudden there's a giant wasp flying at the event, and Starman goes into action. This is a really good action scene. I liked it a lot. He battles it, and then it's more than one, and that is the cliffhanger. There's a swarm of them coming at them, and cliffhanger. So what did I think of the issue? I liked it a lot. I have a couple quibbles. I'm finding it's a good comic book, and it's character building, and I like that. And it's we're gonna have Will go through a new experience and see what it does to Will, and I'm looking forward. That's the parts of these stories I'm looking forward to. I do like that it is not, it's not a mad science. Well, maybe, I don't know. I haven't got to the end of it, but it's very not like maniacal planning. It's more they're just shady businessmen. They give the woman the pheromone power and stuff like that, but it's not a big supervillain piece. As I said, I like Dave Hoover's art a lot. I really, really liked it. It's getting better. It's getting better and better, and I like it. And I do like the way he draws character designs. If he really is into the character is really well drawn. The grandfather is, Starman is, Jane is the regular. Sometimes I feel there's a difference. I'm just seeing a difference, and I like it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just a difference, and I'm getting into that. And the fight scenes are good. This is a 1991 comic, so I'm really kind of judging it through through a curve that this is what comics looked like then, because not that just comics are evolve, and this is very much a 90s style comic and 90s style art. I mean, he's got kind of a mullet. I'm reading a lot of comics right now where people have mullets. It's just really getting off-putting. But I like it. It was good. It's not great. I don't find the bad guys that intriguing. They serve a purpose. The stuff going on with Will and him questioning what he should be and what he should do, with good superhero comic. I mean, I like that stuff. That's the stuff I read superhero comics for. I want the little bit of soap opera in the background and the action, but I do want characters interacting and having things happen to them. But it was good, and it had a great cliffhanger. The giant wasps are pretty. I like them. I thought when I first read it, I was kind of like, what did I think about him? And I read it again when I read it in the hard copy, the floppy. I really did kind of like it. It's like, have him battle monsters. I don't, why it doesn't have to be a big, a punch fight with another bad guy or something. He's got enough power set where he can fly and he can zap things and he's invulnerable that he can have battles with big things like Superman. I like it. Just do it. Make him that kind of superhero, the one flying over the city. I think that would be best. So we're going to move on to issue 32. And this has a pretty good cover. I don't know what to say about it. It's okay. It's a Dave Hoover cover. And he is kissing Alyssa, and the moon is behind him, and it's a pretty cool image. But I don't know. It was okay. It's okay. And it's and at the bottom, the banner says Seduction of Starman Part 3. Well, this comic was cover dated March 1991. Dick Giordano, executive editor. Dave Hoover cover. Len Strazewski, Dave Hoover. Scott Hanna, Tom McCraw, Bob Finna, Katie Main, just like in the last one. And this is Seduction, the Seduction of Starman, Chapter 3, The Fast Lane. I really like. That's a good title. This is a good title. So on the splash, it's I like the splash page. It's a TV showing Starman fighting the big wasps, and there's some skulls and some feathers and a wolf's skin draped over it with 2 spears, and you're assuming that's grandfather's house, and yeah, it's kind of weird. And it cuts back to this news story as he's watching it. And it's basically an info dump on what happened in the last issue. And you cut back to the grandfather's house, and it's really, this is a little off-putting to me. That inside his house is kind of, I don't know, he's made a little altar. It looks like he's inside of, it's got draperies like a teepee. It's just like he wouldn't. Having a it's either he has this area to do this and there's no TV, or it's his living room and that's the way his living room is decorated. I was like, okay, I don't know about that. But he puts the wolf's thing over, and he's got war paint on, and he's just wearing a traditional outfit. And we cut back to Starman, and he's grilling Hart about that, because Will's he's not listening. He's listening to what everybody has to say. And grandfather has said that the reason the housing development blew up was because there was gas underground. And Starman, because of the weird stuff that's happening, asked him, is any of that true? And he gets, they have a discussion, and Alyssa comes in, uses her pheromone on him, and gives him more of a sale pitch, and he's in, and she gives him the worst thing in the world. This red tuxedo jacket with a big star on the chest of it. It's really stupid. It bugged the hell out of me. It just looks silly, but it's even worse when he's wearing it. So she gives him all this, and they're going to have a date, and they're going to go to this event. He goes to check on his powers and have a conversation kind of about, life with Kitty Faulkner, Rampage, Dr. Faulkner, his friend at Star Labs, and she gives him some advice. I like it. I like that he has her in his, and he's talking about how attracted he is to Alyssa, and she goes, well, that's pheromone. So he's going to learn a little knowledge that's going to help him break free of Alyssa's charms or whatever. But it's still good. I liked it. Then we cut to the big event. Doorman in a very traditional costume, and Starman wearing his blazer over his costume. It looks like a really bad Wonder Man costume. It's really silly looking. And they go and they have a nice date. It's and they run into the mom again because she works at the restaurant. And she tells him about some concerns. Oh, no, she's not working here. She's looking for him, yeah, because she thinks she's telling him, I think, my grandfather is the one behind all the giant insects. So he tries to convince her he's not, and then he goes back to dinner with Alyssa, and all of a sudden 2 guys come up with cameras, 3 guys come up and take the picture, and they fly off. They go back to her place, but they'll let you know that he slept on the sofa because there was a pillow and a blanket on it. I thought that was really silly. That, oh yeah, he spent the night, but he slept on the sofa. He starts watching a football game, sitting there without a shirt on with just his Starman bottoms on. Watching the football game, we cut to the game, and grandfather's there in his traditional garb. They let him in the stadium. He does a magic trick with an iguana and some blood, and the iguana becomes a giant and gets on the field, and that's when Starman comes. So we have Starman fighting a giant like salamander. I mean, it's not bad. It's a comic book. It's going on, and Alicia comes back. The news is on, and Grandpa is talking to the reporters, and he's saying it's all about her boss, Reginald Hart. he needs to come there and speak truth, or the monster's going to keep fighting. So this is the part I liked. It's kind of like you're seeing Alyssa talking to Reg, Starman fighting, and then the grandfather, and they're cutting panel to panel differently for the most part, really short bursts. And I like this. There's a page just like that where it's Alyssa, Starman, Grandpa, Alyssa, Grandpa, and I just liked it. It was good. It was like a quick cut in a TV show. Starman beats the iguana, and finally, he throws it by its tongue until it gets hooked on the goalpost, and that's the end. And Starman is thinking to himself, it's time I started asking some tough questions and getting some real answers. And at the bottom, next, the conclusion of the Seduction of Starman. What did I think of that? I like this one. I liked it a little more than I liked the last one. I really, again, the plot, it's just an average villain and some good action. And some good, not enough character stuff for me, like that I normally want, but I understand this is more an action and plot. It's like, this is more like, it's very much a comic of its time, which is stupid, but it's more like watching like old Doctor Who, very simple plots, good stories, simple plots, and okay stories, and the mediocre ones, and then seeing one of the great ones. So I don't know. That's a bad analogy. It's just, I'm not digging that as much, but I am glad I'm reading Will. I don't know if everyone will get that analogy, but it's just an okay story. And the best parts of it, I think, are Dave Hoover's art is getting better and better. This one more so even than the last one. I really liked it. I think it's him with Hannah. It's like I've said before, folks. I like a good penciler inker combo. That's always a good thing. But it's okay, and the plot's getting good. It's the Wasp were cool. The Salamander was kind of cheesy, and the football. There's a lot of there's a little bit more cheesiness in these than I like. So, but I enjoyed it. All right, folks. I'm gonna thank you for listening, and next week we'll be back to Jack, the final part of the Solomon Grundy arc, and issue of Infinity Inc. and other fun things to come. I think I have an idea for another Opal City video club. So let's see. But remember, folks, be safe, be smart, please be kind to one another, and read some comics.